Welcome everyone to our special session on building a strategic professional networking plan. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Sean Elliott, and I'm one of the career consultants with Career Success here at Georgian College.
Hello, folks. I'm Hosai Jassar. I'm the job search coach at the Career Hub. And today we're going to be talking about making meaningful connections and how to build a strategic professional networking plan to aid you in securing co-op and eventually full-time employment.
And so whether you're looking at this for co-op or full-time work or part-time work, these are some important tips that we're going to cover with you. And here's a little bit of an agenda, what we're going to cover by the time we finish out today. We're going to look at job searching methods and the success rates. We're going to talk about the goals for professional networking. We're going to talk about why a well-rounded job search can help you. And then we're also going to show you how it's done. We're going to demonstrate the approach, and we're going to end with giving you some resources for your job search and your career success.
And here's why it's very important to have this kind of networking plan. It's essential for career success. Building a professional network in school provides students with the networking plan to be successful, not only as a co-op student, but in their future as industry professionals. Access to opportunities. So a strong networking plan would give you the tools to help you in building a strong industry network of industry professionals and open doors to jobs for the future, job opportunities. It will also not only help you with the co-op and internship, but also for future and give you industry insights on what is the whole industry about. Skill development, networking plans help students develop key soft skills. And these soft skills will boost your confidence for professional settings. Industry awareness. So connect students with your building the network of industry relevant professionals would help to boost your awareness of the industry and how to act or perform around these industry professionals to keep them informed and prepared, keep you guys informed and prepared for what's coming up. Long-term growth. So fostering meaningful relationships that can lead to mentorship and career advancement.
And I was just thinking, Hosai, as you were talking, if there are students watching this right now today, maybe there's a job fair or some kind of networking event that's coming up, right? All of these tips are going to help prepare you for that event coming up.
Exactly. And this is what are some of the top traditional methods of finding a job. We talk to students every day in Career Hub, and some of the ideas that they come up with are handing out resumes, applying online on job boards, networking, job fairs, etc., etc.
So did you have to take a course to figure these things out? No, right? And so most people think about these kinds of strategies when they think about starting their job search, right? But in some ways, we get asked about these things, like how can I make these things better? And we're not the only people that think about these things, and we're not the only professionals that focus on these tools. But it's interesting because this is often where we get asked, oh, can you help with this? What's wrong with my resume? Or how can I improve my interviewing skills? Or how can I get over the lack of rejections, right, in the job search? So in other words, people want help with these things because they're not working for them. And if this is one of the reasons why you're watching this presentation, or maybe why you reached out to a career coach, this time today is for you. So if you've been a Georgian co-op student or a field placement student, you may have used the Georgian Connects job board that's exclusive for you to apply for opportunities that have already been approved by your college staff in this area. And so this is an exclusive job board for Georgian students. Yet this is only one way for you to obtain maybe a co-op job or other kinds of jobs while you're a student.
Other job boards that could be considered in an independent job search includes job boards like Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, WorkinSimcoeCounty.ca is another platform where you can apply to online jobs. And some more like Worksica, Workopolis, and Luda, Job Bank with the Government of Canada jobs.
Now, what do you think is the success rate for applying for jobs on the internet? I mean, a lot of people seem to think that it's, probably like maybe half of the jobs that I submit online will probably get recognized. And actually, the research indicates the success rate is only 4 to 7%. Wow. Sai?
Yeah, as we think of these kinds of stats, of the most effective job hunting traditional methods, the success rates will actually surprise you. Are you considering some of these methods on the screen yourself? Applying online are some of the least effective methods. Look at some of the other methods, such as going to agencies, getting involved in job search support groups, participating in freelance work. It can improve your success potential. When you're able to ask for job leads, it can increase your success by 33%. Wow. What about going to prospective employers that are within field? And it is 47%. So the stats of these traditional methods can demonstrate why one approach is not enough. But how can you build a strategic plan for professional networking?
Do you know what kind of method will get you the highest level of success? I mean, we're seeing the top 10 methods here, the traditional methods. You might say, well, it's the knocking on the doors of prospective employers. That's the most successful. Well, actually, according to the 2020 edition of What Color is Your Parachute, using a non-traditional method of job hunting will actually result in success 86% of the time. Wow, that's like 12 times the effectiveness, folks, of posting your resume with employers. And so that is the perspective that we're introducing in this presentation when we talk about how you can use professional networking to access the hidden job market.
And here is why you should consider a non-traditional approach. Not to get a job. The main initial goal, well, at least not the initial goal, is not to get a job right away. Asking for a job without an introduction is like asking a stranger on the street if you would like to have a relationship. Can you imagine how awkward that would be? So your goal here, when you're trying to meet and build connections with industry professionals, is to build a strong professional network of connections that you will be able to continue in your learning and growth through relationship buildings. Asking an employer for a job with a cold call or networking when you're getting into a job fair or a business networking event needs to include a professional approach. And if the traditional methods were getting you the success already, you wouldn't be considering these alternative job search and career development experts have to say.
So that's why you need a well-rounded job search. Not one method is going to be a guarantee, right? So you need to use a variety of different resources and methods. And yes, you may use some of the traditional methods, job boards, social media, employer websites, maybe even volunteering might be ways for you to explore opportunities within your job search. But what if you decide that it's too much work or it's too awkward to go outside your comfort? Well, that's why we're here today to talk about this. Why might this be important? Maybe Hosai can share some of that.
Definitely. And we come across situations like this every day on Career Hub. Students reach out to us. So when I'm explaining, they're like, so why is it important? Well, to increase your chances, to get away from the comfort zone. If that worked, you wouldn't be considering other tips or advice, right? Using other methods will also increase your professional network. That will help you beyond just merely getting a job. Using other methods will also increase your professional industry connections. But what would you do when the traditional methods are not working for you? As we highlighted, both the higher success factors and the traditional methods needs to be explored. We mentioned that from the research, the non-traditional methods can bring you results, but let's demonstrate a model of how a professional networking conversation can open up opportunities for you.
Let's showcase how you can start in building a strong professional network of connections that you will be able to continue in your learning and your growth through this kind of relationship building. And what I'm sharing with you is actually something that both Hosai and I have practiced in our own work. Matter of fact, before coming to Georgian 15 years ago, I actually started off by having this kind of professional networking conversation. Little did I know that 15 years later, I would still be, continuing in my work with Georgian in this capacity. So imagine meeting a professional, right? They could be someone who works in the field. They might be someone who maybe you've met at the college, such as a professor or a co-op consultant or a program advisory committee member that maybe you've seen at a networking event. They might be someone you met at a job fair or a business association event. They might be someone that you were referred to, or they could even be someone that you're meeting for the very first time as a result of your research of the different companies. Okay, so your goal here is to build a connection, right? Let's keep that in mind. That's the main thing here. You're going to introduce yourself before asking for a time to meet. Now, if you think about it, if we're talking to professionals, well, they have a job to do. It's not like they're sitting around waiting to have a conversation with you. They have another job to do. So if you're going to ask for their time, you have to give them a reason for that. So you have to introduce yourself in a professional manner. Osai?
Yes, and how to build that professional manner conversation. Well, we in career development industry, we call it building an elevator pitch. So how can you build that elevator pitch? So basically what it is it's like a really simple 30 to 60 seconds of introduction, which is going to have all the information in very short form. It's going to be your name, your program in college, field or position you're interested in, knowledge, skills, experiences, interests that would be value in this field or position. And you're going to end it with asking for an informational interview or a short meeting, as per se, not a job. We have resources built into the Georgian Connects and at the MyGC Live under student portal by job search game plan. The article contains this information and students can access that. Now, when you're building your elevator pitch and having all this information in there, how reasonable does that sound to you as a networking, in your networking plan? This is one of the tools that you can use. How would you like to try this yourself?
My colleagues challenged me to try this in an actual elevator. We call it the elevator pitch, but I guess they were seeing, could we actually do it in a short amount of time while we go down the elevator? So I wasn't actually prepared ahead of time, except that I thought through these 5 main points of what to include. So listen to my attempt here as I introduce myself to like a career center director or manager at a college. So this awkward attempt is really my example of how you could do yours. I'm Elliot, and I am a graduate of George Brown's Career Development Program. and I'm excited to talk to you about my interest in becoming a career consultant in your college. I've worked in career development and employment centers for over 10 years through employment programs, college areas, cooperative education, work integrated learning initiatives, and community agencies. And having the reputation of creating and implementing new initiatives has highlighted my innovation, problem solving, and creative skills. I'm curious if I could take some time to talk to you about the kinds of challenges and opportunities in your school and the things that will lead into students' career pathways. Thank you. Okay, so there's my heart attack. Now, if I had had more practice, I could have got a lot better. But I guess my reason for sharing this is that just practice it, try it. Try it yourself using this outline. If you're more introverted, take time to write it out ahead of time to practice it. If it gives you time to reflect. If you're more extroverted, get together with a colleague to practice it. And it'll actually help focus your approach in a professional manner. So, Hosai, can you share how we can get started using informational interviewing resources?
Sure, definitely. So, folks, once we're done with the introduction and we have to do that elevator pitch, when you come up with your elevator pitch, what's next? As you're finishing up your elevator pitch, you're asking for an opportunity to take 10 to 15 minutes off their time, because they're industry professionals, they're busy people, just to learn about their work, their company, or their industry. Indicate that you want to grow in your profession and understanding of the industry more. If they are able to accommodate you, then that's great. And that would be have some questions ready for them to learn more about their industry. If you look at the section on Georgian Students Portal for under the job searching resources, we have something called a little tile called informational interviews, as shown on the slide. And we have great resources there that you can actually have some of those questions practiced and be ready for that informational interview that happens on the spot. However, some professionals might not have time or may not be prepared to discuss their personal career journey with you. So you can ask for a specific time to do that. Therefore, ask them, when is a good time? When can I meet with you? To just arrange a short time to meet. If you're able to meet with them in person, that's amazing. That's ideal. However, if not, you can always arrange for a meeting online or by phone. Now, when you meet with these professionals, opening up the meeting by sharing your elevator pitch introduction again. Don't just rely, okay, I already discussed, maybe they will remember me. They're busy people, they will forget. Re-emphasize, like bring back the elevator pitch and re-emphasize in your interest in wanting to learn and how you can grow in that industry, in a professional understanding of the industry. Perhaps you could ask questions like, how did you get into the role you're doing today? What was your career pathway? How you see some of the challenges in the next 2 to 3 years in this industry? What kind of challenges I might face as a newbie or an entry-level professional in this industry? What are some of the opportunities for emerging professionals? Where can I start? So you need to keep an eye on the time. Don't make it too wordy, too lengthy. It shouldn't last more than 10 to 15 minutes. Try wrapping it up by conversation by saying something like, okay, thank you for your time. Thank you for your valuable feedback. Do you know somebody, if they're hiring? Do you know of a position where I can start applying for? So you're appreciating their time, and then I can wrap up with the 3 final questions. Right?
So the final questions that you need to conclude with are how you can kind of wrap it all up, right? So the first one you want to ask is like, do you think your organization would actually be interested in hiring a student like me, right? So be prepared for no, because this really wasn't the purpose of your meeting, right? It was to connect so you could learn and grow, not to ask for a job right away. But you still need to model that question. And if they do have something, great, good to go, right? But be prepared for no, because that wasn't the reason. And you need to also model that, because if they recommend you to someone else, you need to show that you're willing to ask the hard question. Okay. So then move to the second question, which is, do you know any other person? Do you know any other professional, other company, organization who is hiring? Okay. Now, the same thing. I mean, they're not ready for that. So they may not have a list of people that they know who are hiring. But if they happen to know someone because of the interesting conversation you've had, right, be ready for that. Okay. But again, it's important to model how you ask this question so that then they'll know that you're going to inquire with interest, right, in going to their colleague or the other professional they're going to mention to you. If they say no, okay, well, then move on to question 3. The third question is really the sweet spot, right? Getting back to your goal where you say, can you suggest any other professionals who could help me learn and grow in the field? I want to connect with them, right? So ask this with the expectation of them answering no, but this is actually the question that is more probable of getting an answer, though. Okay, because most professionals want to help emerging graduates. But if their answer is no, okay, then conclude the meeting by saying, okay, thank you for your valuable time and feedback. Here's my contact information, right? So give them a business contact card, similar to a business card, not your resume. Okay, so the job search game plan document that you can get provides some guidelines on the creation of this kind of card. And you can also use a digital card app, or you can create one on the apps on your cell phone these days. So ensure to interact with compassion, with care, with interest. Like, I'm really interested in getting to know your colleagues, right? And show the willingness to learn and to grow, not just by making money, and it will follow you.
Perfect. It's amazing, amazing tips, Sean. Thank you. And as you're sharing your contact information with each and every professional that you're meeting, whether it's in a networking event or it's in a job fair, these people build your professional network. They become more eyes and ears, and they are going to keep you in mind. As opportunities arise, they could suggest you. As you launch into the next stage of your career, they could even be your colleagues. This networking plan, or as we call it, it becomes like a spider web, and it's going to build and build your connections for you to continue learning and growing in your professional career. It's not just meeting two people meeting. It is meeting with purpose. You're meeting people for a reason in making meaningful industry relevant connections. Also think about joining professional associations. Just like the HRPA for the human resources professional or students, they have an opportunity to join the HRPA, which is Human Resources Professionals Association, or the administrative students, they have an opportunity to join AAP, the Administrative Association of Professionals of each charter. They have local charters, so like Simcoe County, Toronto, anywhere, you can join them, and that's going to be one of the key elements to ensure that you have industry relevant connections.
Every program at Georgian has some kind of association that's connected to it, some professional association. So take a look at what those associations might be by going to the labor market sheets, the quick grad facts for every program, and you'll see, and talk to your coordinators so you can find out what some of those networks and those associations might be. This is how you start to connect with professionals about your career interests, your strengths, your values, and your qualifications in this kind of communication. And this is also how you build on the non-traditional method of securing work. And the research indicated that this results for over 86% success rate. And this is also one of the best ways to access what we call the hidden job market. Other research indicates that over 80% of the jobs are not advertised. It's like getting access to the larger part of the iceberg below the water. So connecting with professionals in this manner is actually more effective, right? You're guiding your conversation to the people and the interesting topics that have come up. And where's your competition, right? It's less competitive because you have sourced out these connections on your own. Accessing the hidden job market through professional networking helps to dispel the myth of where to start in your job search. You see, when employers start networking about potential candidates of who to hire, they start from within, like who they know. Like they'll talk to people in their own company. Then they'll maybe talk to some agencies. Then they might even talk to other professionals in the field. Hey, do you know anyone who, I can hire? Right? Before they even start looking at resumes. And you think about it, most job applicants, maybe yourself, as you're thinking about trying to look for work, where do you go first? We often default to the job ads, the things that are advertised. And if you think about it, we're actually approaching it from the opposite ends of the spectrum. So by the time the applicant looks at the ad, the employer may already have some prospects in mind, or at least has a sense of what they're actually going to narrow the job down to doing. Whereas if you had met them earlier on, when they were just thinking about it, sometimes I've often seen this happen where an employer will design the job according to your skills and your interests.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sean. And just to go over what we have discussed today, just networking, what we have found out is networking with employers is one of the most effective non-traditional methods of finding a job and building your career. Instead of just handing in your resume, you can refer to your portfolio, your profile, your website, your resources. There are other resources that you can access. And then to create a competitive edge in your job search networking, what you can do is you consider developing an employment portfolio. Now, if you need to build your portfolio or you need help with your portfolio building, please reach out to Career Hub and we'll be more than happy to assist you. But using a professional introduction with an elevator pitch is the best way to get started in your professional networking.
For those introverted professionals, as I was mentioning earlier, networking can be one of the most challenging exercises to engage in, like getting out talking to people, right? But creating an elevator pitch can be one of the most strategic and helpful strategies to help you think about what to say and how to get started. For those extroverted professionals, creating an elevator pitch introduction can actually be a productive way to, yes, to release your preferences and connecting with people, but you can do it in a way where you stay on track and have that professional edge.
When you have meetings, share your business cards, contact business cards. We call it student business cards. Have it ready. Also ask for referrals through other professionals in their network if they know somebody. We recommend that you plan on having 3 to 5 networking connections with professionals each and every week. Try to aim for that.
Here's a great goal, right? So these tips are important for an independent job search. If applying online has not given you the results yet, okay, this approach will help you build your professional network. As a co-op student, you will have a number of key documents that you will need to include as part of your independent job search that you could put into your employment portfolio, right? But it's when you're participating in these kind of professional networking conversations, these documents become more important, okay? So these include your program employer marketing sheet, where it outlines what would be involved if this employer were to hire you as a co-op student, as an example. Also have the tax information handout on the tax credit that employers can get by hiring you for a co-op. Did you know that employers can get up to $3,000 back if they hire you as a co-op student? Like, that's an important piece of information that you can not only share, but have the document to back yourself up, right? Also have the list of co-op learning outcomes so that you can indicate, well, I could do this job as long as I meet a certain minimum number of these learning outcomes. Then it'll give you that flexibility to discuss it with your co-op consultant and with the employer. And then lastly, with your employment portfolio, make sure that you include things like your resume, your unofficial copy of your transcript, and any other employment portfolio documents that could be helpful. If you need more advice on these kind of documents, both our career success team and our co-op consultants can help you. Hosai, why don't you tell us about how people can get connected with us?
Beautiful. So for more support, please reach out to the Career Success Team in the Career Hub through career consultant appointments if you need career consultations, or reviewing the career job searching resources on the student portal. Whether it's more to help with your job search, networking, your resume updates, preparing for an interview, or doing more career planning, we are here for you. So make sure that you use the resources that are available to you that you have already paid with your student services fees. Here's how you can access these supports, as you will hear from our job search coaches.
Hi Grizzlies!
Welcome to the Georgian College community. Our career services is here to help you with your job search journey here in Canada.
And guess what? You can access our services up to 2 years after graduation.
Now that is awesome. So let's dive into some of our services.
At the Career Hub, we offer walk-in services to assist with resume cover letter revision, interview preparation, job search strategies, networking tips. We are here to support you every step of the way.
We are open Monday to Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. in M204 of the Barrie campus. Attending another campus? No problem. Book a virtual appointment with the Career Hub instead. Have questions? Email us at gccareerhub@georgiancollege.ca.
Feeling uncertain about your career path? We got you. Our career consultants are here to support you with personalized career counseling and guidance.
Connect with a career consultant to discuss program options, career paths after graduation, to explore completing career assessments, and for customized job searching support.
Did you know that you can also access our resources online anytime? My GC Live has got you covered. Whether you want to build your resume, LinkedIn profile, or want to practice your interview skills, here is how to access our resources. You can use Navigate 360 to book a virtual appointment with the Career Hub, or in-person or virtual career consultant appointment. Here is how.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for events, tips, and more at Georgian College Co-op Careers. Welcome to Georgian College and see you soon.
And there we have. So we look forward to seeing you folks. And on behalf of the entire career success team at Georgian, we just would like to say thank you for your time. Hope this has been encouragement, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you very much, folks. Have a wonderful time.